Actually, you know what? Since I'm here, since we are here, hold on, let me find it. Might as well, since I went live, we can go over the roadmap. Kind of excited, to be honest with you. There's a lot of flavored text up here. They kind of just talked about the class releases. Basically, they want class releases to be delayed to save for the hype, to keep like the game like at peak points. So what they decided to do was every 2 months they're gonna release a class, starting with Arcanist in or Arcana in July. It's a lot of just flavored text. They didn't really talk about much, to be honest. A big thing from the general, they're gonna do like bug fixes and shit, but right here is massive. So the free Punica Pass pretty much means that I'll be able to get my characters up to like 1302 point, which is pretty good, because then I can just, it's 100% hones from 1302 to 1325, and that's basically what's going to be my Shadow Hunter, what I plan. And then on top of that, this isn't fully explained yet, obviously, but people are speculating that it's going to be a Hyper Express, which means it's basically going to help a character get to around this 14-15 mark, and to kind of speed up the process so like the leveling isn't very slow, and kind of just juice them up really fast. What I want to know from Hyper Express is if leveling a character back in like, you know, down here, if it like speeds that process up as well. Because if it does, then I think that Punica Pass I'm gonna use, like, I'm either gonna save it or like use it on like one of these characters, and then like my Demon Hunter, I think I'll just level from scratch all the way up to 15-15, all the way up to 14-15. That way I'll have 2 other tier 3 ults that are just money generators. This character hopefully will be in the 70 range, 1400 range. Along with this character, this is my actual main, so hopefully we juice the gunslinger up a little bit, and then have another ult that's like at the 14-15 mark. Gonna have to wait until they reveal a little bit more, but that's the idea and that's the plan. So kind of excited for that. June, we're getting Vicus. That's very good. Vicus is supposed to be the beginning of the end game. She's also supposed to be like where the learning curve kind of changes, and where shit's gonna get really steep. Probably hard mode of this is gonna be taking people some time to beat, according to the Korean streamers, which I do believe, because it's very mechanic heavy and it looks pretty challenging. And if one person dies, then pretty much the whole run's gone. So that's kind of how these raids work. If one person dies, then it's kind of a shot run. But I'm excited. I'm not gonna be able to even do 14. I'm hoping that before this comes out, which, I mean, we didn't get a date, but people are speculating either the 16th or the 23rd, so that gives me roughly like 2 weeks. I'm hoping that I can manage to actually hit this mark by then, but if not a big deal. We just get the character up to that point, and whenever we do. New Guardian, good old Descaluda is no longer on her own. This is where the turtle will be. Basically just gives more rocks. I don't think this boss is that hard, but most people still end up just farming this bird. They don't really try too hard. This is gonna be exciting. The bridge is exciting because you have to like go floor by floor, but you could also skip all the floors and just go to the last one. And what's exciting about that is the amount of mats that this gives. This is like heaven, basically. This gives so much mats that it's like insane. I'm like super excited for this. This will be how I can try and get my gunslinger. That is mostly how I'm gonna get my gunslinger into like the 45 range. Legendary skins. This is kind of a complete waste because a lot of people will spend money, throw it away, and it's gonna be really funny. But this will bring in some cool skins, so when eventually a whole set goes in the market, then you can just buy it with gold. That's kind of like what you should really do. You shouldn't actually like gotcha on this at all. This is just straight pure RNG just to steal your money. Arcanist in July. So that is all of June. So that's all of this month. It wasn't this weekly reset. So it's either gonna be, I imagine we're probably gonna get this stuff at like the 16th or the 23rd. I imagine is when we're gonna get that stuff. So I don't mind if it's the 23rd either, because it gives me time to get the main higher. So I'm not too concerned about that, but it also gives me time to get my ults up. So it just gives me more time. Coming in July is Arcanist. This will be one of my like barracks characters. This character is literally just gonna be made for like money. Just silver and other mats to just farm into the other characters. It's not a character I want to actually main, but it looked like a cool character to like have fun playing around, running around through chaos dungeons. Their Vaultin is getting Inferno difficulty, so hell mode, which basically only a small percentile will ever play because the shit is actually that hard, and it's also a really big money sink. So you end up losing a lot of gold spending on pots and shit like that. So a very few amount of people will actually try to fully try to participate and actually clear this. And then challenge abyssal dungeons. Abyssal dungeons are cool because it's basically another weekly source of mats. So kind of like how the Guardians are here for like a weekly way of getting more mats. That's what this is gonna be. Oh wait, no, I don't think that's what this is. I think it's another slot. I think it's one of the slots down here, but basically you go back to either this dungeon, or this dungeon, and you play it, it kind of like scales your level down, and you do it basically on item level. John, it's kind of like the way like how Nightfalls work, where it's like they're old strikes, but you know, it brings it to a harder difficulty and you just go through it. It works the exact same way. And that is pretty much the roadmap for June and July. So kind of pretty exciting stuff if you ask me. I personally think it's exciting. It's another way of getting like weekly mats. So that's like it's super helpful. It's just another way of being able to generate more materials for you to be able to upgrade. There is a lot to look forward to. I am excited. The whole community is kind of like, I think the whole community is against the 2 classes every month. I'm against it, but I see why they do it, so I'm not like upset about it. But like, to be completely honest, I would prefer them to rush the classes out because, you know, I already have like a game plan of what I want. So like, once all the classes are out, I'm able to just, you know, I can make the classes that I want and then just play the game how I want. But I mean, I have other fillers in the meantime. It's not a big deal. It'll come out in time. We'll get it eventually.